Now at 7 o'clock, more protests outside the Portland Ice facility. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is going to join us live in just a moment with a look at what's happening there this morning. Plus,
I want to see your flight not be delayed. I don't want you canceled, but our priorities are safety.
the government shutdown impacting flights all across the country. We're going to have more on the local impact at the Portland airport coming up later this hour. And we're also taking a look inside the brand new Amazon Fulfillment Center in Woodburn. This thing is the size of 64 football fields. It is huge. We're going to show you how they're using robots to improve productivity. Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock starts right now. Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise here on KGW+. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has another morning off, but Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis, man, those guys just keep on working, doing a little weather and traffic dance for us.
I can't get over the size of that building down in Woodburn, the Amazon facility.
64 football fields, right?
Miles long.
Can you imagine, my friend? This is what I'm stuck on. You could be 20 football fields away from the nearest bathroom when you really need to go.
I was thinking that you and I could work together in the building every day, same hours, and there's a possibility we would never see each other.
Very, very true. All right, I think this is kind of fun. That's not fun, being that far away from the you-know-what. But this is fun. We've got the bar just getting ready to go underneath the interstate bridge. That's not being lifted or anything, so that's good. Look at the clear skies, our view from the Springs at the waterfront camera in Vancouver, where winds are calm along this section of the Columbia, and it's 47 degrees. We still have the harvest moon up. It's a full supermoon, which means it's roughly about 31,000 miles closer to Earth, the moon, than it can be during other parts of the year. So it's extra bright. You can see it right there. Temperature 51 degrees. This will be another clear sky day at the bus stop. Some of you are in the 40s. If you have calm winds, you're in the 40s. Sun up 7:17, 67 at noon. Another really warm afternoon. Enjoy it. 78. Here's Chris.
Rod, thank you for that. I want to take you back to the Banfield eastbound I-84. Little fender bender action just cleared. It's eastbound out near the Hollywood district. So the good news is the crash is cleared. Presumably no injuries or anything like that. But the eastbound drive is still a little tight back onto the I-5 ramps. So both I-5 north and southbound ramps onto the Banfield are running a little thick. And the drive from Clark County, you expect this hour of a Tuesday morning commute. Slow and go basically from SR 500. That trip to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge, Drew, that has jumped up to 20 minutes at last check.
All right, thank you, Chris. We start the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise with the latest on President Trump's moves to deploy the National Guard to Portland. National Guard troops have mobilized to Camp Withicum, a military facility out in Happy Valley, but deployment remains on hold after two rulings from a federal judge this past weekend. So now the question is whether or not the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will flip that decision or let the judge's ruling stand. Yesterday, President Trump said he would consider getting around the court rulings by using the country's Insurrection Act, which would grant him emergency powers to deploy troops. While that's happening in D.C., officials here in Portland are accusing federal officers of using excessive force on some of the people protesting outside the city's ICE facility. The crowd at the facility last night was larger than it has been for a weeknight, with about 150 protesters and counter-protesters gathering outside the building. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is live at the facility right now. Thomas, when I drove by there at about 3:30 this morning, there was a smaller crowd. What do things look like now?
Yeah, well, Drew, it's still pretty small. I mean, a dozen, maybe 24 protesters are here, but they haven't been protesting outside the ICE facility. They're actually just kind of hanging out by a little camp they've got set up just down the block. Now, last night, our crew saw two people be detained. They also saw federal agents come out of the ICE facility, detain one person before going back in. It's not clear why that person was detained. Portland police also made an arrest last night. It happened around 5:15 when they arrested a Tennessee man connected to a harassment incident that happened on Sunday. This comes after a federal judge ruled over the weekend the Trump administration could not deploy Oregon's National Guard to Portland or National Guard troops from any other state for that matter either. That drew anger from the White House.
You look at what's happened with Portland over the years, it's a burning hellhole. And then you have a judge that lost her way.
President Trump has pushed to send troops to the ICE facility in South Portland, where he claims protesters have waged an insurrection. Though over the summer, protests have been relatively small here. Since June, The U.S. Attorney's Office says 30 people have been charged with federal crimes at the facility. Oregon State leaders like Attorney General Dan Rayfield say the judge's ruling draws a line in the sand.
There's a reason that we don't accept having the military on our streets. It's un-American. It's not what the framers of our Constitution intended. That's something you'd expect to see in a third world country, and we'll fight to maintain that sense of normalcy.
And look, once again, it's going to be a little bit different of a situation here in the mornings than it is in the evenings. Again, larger protests than normal last night. Our crew saw around 150 people here. But all morning long, and frankly, throughout the mornings that we've been here over the past couple of weeks, it's been very small, very quiet, very peaceful. There's been no change in that today. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us all morning outside the ICE facility there in South Portland. Meanwhile, an attorney for the city of Portland sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice claiming that federal officers are using excessive force against peaceful protesters. The letter accuses agents at the ICE facility of shoving veterans and other older people to the ground. It also addresses the use of pepper spray and impact munitions like rubber bullets on the crowd. One protester who we have seen down there dressed in inflatable frog costume says that he's been pepper sprayed by federal agents.
And somebody fell in the process, and I was in the process of helping that comrade up. It's in the video, and the ICE agent, DHS agent I should say, got behind me and sprayed into my air vent. To be honest, I had a headache for a while.
Obviously, the video we just showed you there describes and shows what that man just described to us. The letter, by the way, from the city's attorney also alleges that the federal government is targeting demonstrators based on their political beliefs and that federal officers favor people who agree with the Trump administration. Portland Police Chief Bob Day continues to say that National Guard troops are not needed at the ICE facility. On the latest episode of KGW Straight Talk with Stephanie Domerat, Chief Day noted that there has been a significant jump in activity outside the facility in the past week and a half, adding that social media and influencers are inflaming the situation. Stephanie asked the chief about recent comments from the Trump administration that suggest Portland police are making partisan arrests.
The reality is that we're not paying attention to the left or right conversation. We're paying attention to behaviors, and we're paying attention to what the law allows. All of our arrests are based on probable cause.
Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield also appeared on the latest episode of Straight Talk. He says his office has been preparing for the recent events outside the Portland ICE facility ever since President Trump's inauguration. You can watch Straight Talk anytime right here on our free TV app, KGW+. Former Oregon State Senator Daniel Bonham has been nominated as an assistant to the U.S. Labor Secretary. Bonham had been Oregon's Senate Republican leader until he announced his resignation last month. That resignation officially took effect this past weekend. If he is confirmed, Bonham will serve under U.S. Labor Secretary and former Oregon Congresswoman Lori Chavez-DeRemer. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek signed an executive order to speed up renewable wind and solar projects all across the state. The governor says the goal is to take advantage of federal clean energy tax credits before they expire. To qualify for those credits, construction on projects has to start by next July. Governor Kotek says her executive order instructs state agencies to accelerate permitting and development, all in an order to get those projects started faster. All right, live look outside now by way of our Salem sky cam, pointing at the moon, the harvest moon, the super moon, Rod Hill.
Super moon!
On this Tuesday morning, we're going to have another super moon tonight, I do believe, correct?
Well, I mean, it's the same moon.
Well, you kind of get that super effect, though, for a couple of nights, is my point. You follow me?
Yes.
Going to be hanging out here?
The moon technically is now beyond full, but to Drew's point, it's pretty gosh darn close for about 3 nights in a row. Here's the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. You can see the same moon. I think we have, a couple people out there walking right along the Pacific waters. 50 degrees. Everybody, for the most part, hit 70 at the beach yesterday. Some areas will do it today. Some will stay in the 60s, but really pretty. Speaking of, early morning orange, still pre-sunrise colors at 7:09 in the morning. Looking from Timberline Lodge, 48 degrees. Still a bit of a east breeze up there, bouncing to about 22. There's the same moon over downtown Portland. Clear skies, 51 degrees. Temperatures, there's quite a variance, which is always interesting to me. simply because of a little bit of wind in some spots. Gusty winds to about 30 from the east blowing into Troutdale. And then the lower temperatures like Hillsboro, no wind at all, 43 degrees. We saw that early shot down in Salem, some pretty fall foliage as well, if you noticed. 43, no wind being reported. Silverton has pretty good breezes in 65. Everybody's clear again today. Upper 60s in some areas. Before we start to cool off today, we'll hit 70 at the beach, so gorgeous day. Upper 70s in I-5, 77 in Bend, and a mix of 60s and some of you hitting 70 today out in eastern Oregon. 7-day forecast. We have another dry day tomorrow, but tomorrow the east winds are gone. West winds are a bit more moderating, so only about 66. Thursday, shower chances begin. Friday, it looks like far more showers, more likely, and then rain at times only about 60 for the weekend. And when you look at that high on Saturday and Sunday in the 60-degree range, realize much of those 2 days, if we get enough rain, will only be in the 50s. So that's going to be a big drop in temp, Chris.
A little shock to the system after near 80 this week, right? All right, let's get you out the door. I want to start off in Battleground. Heads up Clark County here in about an hour or less. WashDOT's going to be doing some road work on the Battleground Highway on-ramp, SR 502 to southbound I-5. So that on-ramp's going to be closed from 8 to 2 for guardrail repair. All right, a little farther south, the trip out of Clark County on I-5 South is puttering along here at about 16 miles an hour. That's the live look at SR 500. The trip down from Main Street to I-405 is up to about 20 minutes at last check. Over on the west side, the headlights tell the tale. It is a slow drive coming down the hill from Sylvan into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. At last check, that trip also climbing. Drew, right now it's about 21 minutes to get you in from Hillsboro to downtown.
Sounds good, Chris. Here's what's coming up next on the Sunrise Show. A look inside the brand new Amazon Fulfillment Center in Woodburn. That is huge. It's actually the size of 64 football fields. And we're also going to talk about Starbucks teaming up with Hello Kitty for the holidays. That story and other consumer headlines in 2 minutes. Also, a quick reminder here that this is the United Way's Community Impact Week. You can volunteer with other people across Portland and Vancouver all this week, supporting local nonprofits through Hands On Greater Portland. That's the United Way's volunteer program. You can sign up at unitedway-pdx.org.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
The largest Amazon fulfillment center in the Northwest is now open in Woodburn. KGW's Libby Dowsett took a tour to meet some of the people and some of the robots behind the operation.
3.8 million square feet, about the size of 64 football fields. This Amazon fulfillment center has a 30-mile conveyor system set up to transport more than 40 million items.
So as soon as you hit buy, a robot grabs the right pod to get it to the associate right away.
6,000 high-tech robots do all the heavy lifting and transport. Therefore, no need for categorizing items.
Let's say we have something that's on sale that everybody wants. If they're all in the same place, we could have a log jam with a lot of our pods.
Items come in, get scanned by employees, and placed in pods, transported by the robots. When there's an order, the processing procedure reverses.
Scans it, goes through all the conveyance, then we get it to the dock door. From there, it either goes to a sortation center or delivery stations.
The robots spin and stop short, reading QR codes on the floor. New employee Roberto Pena says he was surprised. The robots don't hit each other or employees.
Everything just went smooth. It became a routine.
If a product drops from one of the pods, it's Pena's job to enter the floor wearing this amnesty vest. When on, it creates an imaginary bubble around him. The robots won't enter.
And then once the path is set, everything will just kind of get out the way.
Dignitaries got a first-hand look at this high-tech action Monday.
We were always concerned that it was going to steal the employment from small companies. That hasn't been a real problem.
Amazon is going to be investing in the surrounding community. It's going to have a ripple effect, I think, for the Willamette Valley. This is huge.
With 3,000 people working here already, they say every Friday they're hiring more, hundreds more each week. And they say that could continue for a couple months. In Woodburn, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
All right, following that report from Libby, let's take a look at some of this morning's consumer headlines. We start with this. Mattel is introducing Team Barbie, 4 dolls made in the likeness of real rugby stars ahead of International Day of the Girl. So the lineup includes U.S. Olympic rugby medalist Ilona Maher. Mattel says it gave the dolls a more muscular shape to reflect the build of strong female athletes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The Ilona Maher Barbie doll will be available next year. Starbucks, meanwhile, is partnering with Hello Kitty.
Why not?
I was thinking, why are they? Here's why. Starting November 6th, stores across the country and Canada will offer Hello Kitty plush toys, mugs, and tumblers. I guess I still don't know why, but I just know they are.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the same day, November 6th, that Starbucks launches its holiday menu that includes the peppermint mocha, the iced sugar cookie latte, and the iced gingerbread latte. Speaking of the holidays, Rod Hill.
Yes.
Spirit Christmas coming soon. Starting in early November, 30 new locations will open up in the Northeast and Great Lakes areas of the country. The company behind Spirit Halloween launched the first Spirit Christmas stores last year. They feature holiday decor, gifts, and photos with Santa. Spirit Christmas.
I know we're starting to tell you that you can become a collection site. Now's the time to do that for
the toy drive.
Yeah, for the KGW Great Toy Drive. But I just can't get into anything holiday yet. Come on.
I know. We're just kind of getting into the fall season still, I feel like.
And the older I get, I feel like, didn't we just do this? Right? And then it's whatever it is, it's back around and you got to get all ready for it again.
Yeah, no, I feel like September went by in a flash. We're already into the second week of October.
I was going to say, it's going to be mid-October in a flash. Another beautiful day coming up. Here's a satellite picture. We have clear skies out there. We are getting closer to the pattern change. There's developing weather systems. It's going to be a really kind of a giant upper-level low that's going to park itself off our coast for several days. Rain chances with that pick up on Thursday, become increasingly likely Friday. And right now the weekend does look more wet than dry both days. So here's the rain potential map. And notice on Thursday, doesn't mean it's not going to rain, but it means this model is correct. There's no measurable rainfall up and down I-5 Thursday. It's mostly coast and in the mountains, and maybe some showers over in Central Oregon. Now, by the time we roll into Friday, now showers are becoming more widespread and more likely. And then we have waves of some steady rain on Saturday and Sunday. So you put it all together. Not overly soaking numbers if you figure this is 4 days, right? Thursday through Sunday. And even at the coast, we're kind of talking on average maybe a half of an inch of rain if this is correct. And some quarter to a half of an inch of rain amounts out across eastern areas of our state as well. All right, it is pretty time. This is the Salem Sky Camera this morning. Again, we're following that supermoon, which means it's closer to Earth than normal. That means it looks bigger and brighter than normal. And there it is, setting in the western sky again this morning from our Salem Sky Camera. What really caught my eye on this camera beyond the moon is just how pretty some of the fall foliage is starting to look in our capital city. 43 is your early morning number. There's Mount Hood from the Shutdown tasting room camera out in Sherwood, 46 degrees. Another pretty clear sky up in the Kelso-Longview area. This is Three Rivers Golf Course. Beautiful morning up there as well. So everybody's clear. Kelso's at 44, about the same as Salem. Portland's 51. The Dow's, you're at 40 degrees. And we have 20s this morning out in Burns and Baker City. So a lot of us will be just like yesterday. Yesterday in the valley, all of the main reporting sites, upper 70s, but shy of 80. This shows 79 Corvallis, Salem today. Obviously somebody could hit 80. East winds to start will calm and switch to the west later today. Same thing up in southwest Washington, and the same upper 70s expected. There's Battleground in Vancouver and Longview, all at 78 degrees. All right, so what a couple of days. Clear, 78 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy to maybe mostly sunny. The big story tomorrow is we're still dry, but we dropped the temperature from 70s to 60s, so we'll be closer to normal tomorrow. Shower chances start Thursday, the more widespread shower activity on Friday, and then I mentioned the rain at times on Saturday. And this is cool weather because I said earlier in the show, if the forecast is showing you a high of 60, what does that mean? That means most of the time it's actually going to be in the 50s. That's your update. Here's Chris.
So 1 teardrop on Thursday, 2 on Friday, and a whole bunch this weekend. All right, let's get you over the west side here. A little fender bender action on the Sunset. This is actually in the ramp from 405 north to Highway 26 west. We can't see it, but I can certainly see the evidence because the traffic right now is really crawling along through that stretch of freeway right now. We'll switch gears and I can show you the backup actually starts back past 4th Avenue. So cars are hitting that lineup right now as soon as they come off the Markham Bridge and make that transition onto I-405 north. Give yourself a couple of extra minutes around that. Sunset, slow and steady, coming in from the Sylvan Hill. At last check, the trip in from Hillsborough is up a few more clicks in the drive time fun meter, about 25 minutes, and that looks like a whole lot of fun as well. Southbound I-5, not fun at SR 500. Slow and steady there as well. We're holding steady, though, with that drive. 20 minutes gets you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. 2 years to the day that Hamas launched an attack on Israel. Negotiators from both sides are working on a peace plan. The latest on that coming up here in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Today marks 2 years since the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. Also today, negotiators for both sides are expected to meet to discuss the peace plan put together by President Trump. For more on this, here's NBC's Alice Barr.
This morning, as Israelis mark 2 years since the Hamas terror attacks that killed 1,200 people while taking 250 hostage.
It's like an open wound. The hostages, I really can't believe it's been almost 2 years. It's been 2 years.
And Palestinians pray for an end to the war that followed, killing more than 66,000 in Gaza. According to health officials there, finally signs that peace could be near.
We have a really good chance of making a deal, and it'll be a lasting deal.
Israel and Hamas working through the details of President Trump's 20-point peace plan, with Arab mediators in Egypt shuttling between the two sides.
We have just about every nation working on this deal.
Under the agreement, Israel would stop the war and gradually withdraw from most of Gaza, provided Hamas frees all 48 of its remaining hostages, 20 of them believed to still be alive, disarms and leaves power. That last provision, long a central sticking point, still an open question, leaving hostage families suspended between hope and dread.
We cannot let another deal collapse.
NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel spoke to one freed hostage about the day that changed everything.
I was here on my bed, and my wife was here on the ground.
The painful months held captive in a tunnel and the urgency for those who remain.
Bring all of them, all of the hostages, and finish this war.
A plea echoing across the region and the world. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
For weeks now, the Portland ICE facility has been a hotspot and a point of contention between the Trump administration and Oregon state leaders. Coming up next, we're going to show you what it really looks like down here near the South Waterfront.
Also in our next half hour, flights around the country are facing delays and cancellations after a rash of air traffic controllers called out sick. What they're sick over appears to be their lack of pay during the government shutdown. The full story at 7:30.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning drive. I pick it up with a pair of traffic alerts on the west side. We'll take you out to Beaverton right now. Southwest Shoals Ferry Road near Blackbird Lane. We've got a crash here that's got, it looks like at least one lane blocked. And you're looking at a pretty extensive lineup now, both directions on Shoals Ferry getting through that intersection. So just be aware of that. Also, in the freeways, the ramp from 405 north to westbound 26, a fender bender there has that drive tied up a little bit. You can see traffic moving slowly to get onto the westbound Sunset. Rod?
Chris, weather-wise, we are perfectly clear out there this morning. I personally think this is the prettiest camera of the morning. Just gorgeous. So we're looking at Salem. There's some fall foliage, the clear skies. Off to the right, you can see the on the way down now, the full harvest moon. Temperatures chilly at 43. Winds are calm. Here's a bright sunlight over downtown Portland and 51 degrees. This is another clear sky, 70-something day. The sun's now up, obviously, 77 at 5 p.m.
Did you know, gang, as we kick off the 7:30 half hour of Sunrise, today is not just Taco Tuesday, it's also National Taco Day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
National Taco Day used to be October 4th, but it's been moved to the first Tuesday in October.
To go with Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It's like Taco Tuesday with some extra hot sauce.
Yeah, good marketing there.
All right, places like Taco Bell, Del Taco, they have special deals and discounts today for National Taco Day. Yes, Chris?
Soft shell, hard shell?
That's a good question.
I like the crunch.
I do too, but
I do too.
I do like the crunch.
But I'll take a soft shell.
No, the soft shells.
I'll take two of each.
Eat. I can shovel them in quicker. And it's more efficient when I'm eating the soft. But I do enjoy the crunch. I'm going to tell you, I'll get a quick shout out because we mentioned the big guys like Taco Bell and Del Mar.
Yeah, shout out.
Or Del Taco, whatever the heck it is. I want to talk about a local place called OC Taco. It is in Oregon City.
Oh.
It's the OC Taco name.
Oh, I see.
Anyone who's from that area knows how awesome this place is. Really good tacos.
Hard or they have both?
They have them street taco style, so it's soft.
Soft,
yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic fantastic chips. I was about to say fish and chips. No fish, just chips. And the best spicy margarita I've ever had.
You like those spicy
I do. This one is the best. They call it the pepino. They use chili-infused tequila.
Yeah.
I don't like all that syrup. I don't like that syrupy margarita.
That is
I like
my biggest
that
margarita
tequila-y
complaint.
margarita.
You're
People put
passionate
too much
about
sugar in them.
Yeah, no, this one's got plenty of spice.
Sounds like we need to take a road trip.
All right.
Oh, there it
OC
is.
Taco.
That sounds good.
See you later.
Commercial for OC Taco?
Yeah, I think so. National, but a local spot. I love it. National Taco Day on Taco Tuesday. All right. My first job was in a Mexican restaurant.
Is that right?
I was 13.
Oh my
the
God.
main job was being the dishwasher.
Yep.
But the cool thing was, they had which was basically like a big Rubbermaid trash can, if you will. But it was clean. But that's where I got to make the tortilla chips in this big, like, Rubbermaid trash can.
Yeah.
I would eat the chips while I was making them.
Oh, geez.
All right, here's the
That's a health code violation.
our Lincoln City Chinook West Casino Resort camera. Beautiful morning, 48 degrees. How about 70 at the coast today again? I think yes. Here's downtown Portland, 51. How about upper 70s in Portland again today? I think yes. 77 at 5 o'clock. I actually have the high getting up to about 78. Here's Chris.
How about some hot sauce with those chips? All right, let's pick it up on a serious note over on the west side. I do have a crash right now on Shoals Ferry Road. This is out just west of Murray near Blackbird. And right now, traffic is running really thick, really slow, both directions on Shoals Ferry. So give yourself a couple of extra minutes to get around this, or maybe try Barrows Road down to the south. Also, on the Sunset, westbound, Highway 26. Okay, that's good. It looks like that earlier crash is just cleared, so we're going to bypass this because the backup that was there is also flushing out. I'm happy to tell you that. All right, quick look at the drive times coming in from the west side. Inbound Highway 26, of course, it's the time of the morning where the sun's coming right up over the Sylvan Hill. Drivers are facing that, so some sunshine slowdowns likely there. 30 minutes now gets you in from Hillsborough. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Let's get back to our top story this morning, the protests that continue outside Portland's ICE facility. So this is what it looked like last night. Our crew covering the situation there estimated there was about 150 people, a mix of protesters and counter-protesters. Portland police say they didn't see any criminal behavior that required intervention last night, but police did arrest a suspect in connection with an assault that happened on Sunday outside the ICE facility. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has been out there all morning long for us. So Thomas, pretty good sized crowd last night. What's it look like this morning?
Well, Drew, right now it's been very peaceful as it has been all morning long. I want to give you a better representation of what it really looks like out here in South Portland. This is where protesters have been setting up. This is their little campsite. We wanted to show it to you now that it's a little bit brighter. You can see they've got, little tents and supplies. Looks like a grill out here. But it's been very peaceful. Over here, as we look at the ICE facility itself, that looks like people just waiting to go in for appointments today. Those people just arrived over the last few minutes or so. And then adjacent over here on this other corner, that's just media, where ourselves have been setting up all throughout the past couple of weeks as this has bubbled over between President Donald Trump and Oregon state leaders of really differing opinions about what is going on down here along the South Waterfront. Now, if we walk down this street here, this is just a little bit of representation, just right across from where this ICE facility is. It's very peaceful. There's nothing going on here all morning long. We've seen people kind of walk to and from as they're going to work. PBOT, Portland Bureau of Transportation, is also out here. They're cleaning storm drains this morning. I want to speed it up a little bit so we can show you around the corner a little bit more of what we're seeing. But once again, nothing happening. I mean, there's a little bit of chalk on the street, but that's about it. Just 200 feet away from the ICE facility. Now, you got to remember, these protests in the morning are going to be a little bit smaller than they would be in the evening. Once again, as we just showed you, around 150 people last night protesting, both protesters and counter-protesters. Of course, you've had federal agents out here. Portland Police has been out here. Portland Police making an arrest last night as well. But as Bob Day, chief of Portland Police, has said, and Oregon state leaders have said for weeks now, they don't think federal troops or necessary National Guard deployments from Oregon or elsewhere, they say, are not necessary because they've got a pretty good handle on what's going on out here. We turn the corner here, you can see, again, seemingly just you have people on their way to work. You have the streetcar in full effect. You don't see any protesters or anything out of the ordinary along this stretch here, just businesses and shops and residential areas, nothing out of the ordinary. But this has been a sticking point between the Trump administration and Oregon state leaders. The Trump administration, President Trump calling Portland a war-ravaged city. State leaders, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson pushing back against that sentiment. And once again, just want to give you a full view one more time here of what we're seeing just a block away from the ICE facility. No protest, no signs of really any disturbance out here this morning. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz with a live look for us this morning right down there near the South Waterfront outside the ICE facility. Let's get to some other local headlines here, and we start in Vancouver, where a teenager is charged with second-degree murder after authorities say she strangled a woman to death. Court documents say 17-year-old Karma Douglas got into a fight with Chantel Trotter inside Trotter's home early Sunday morning. Here's more from Trotter's son.
She was a hard worker, a hard-headed person who put her best foot forward in every situation, always had a smile on her face, making sure that everybody around her was taken care of and happy.
We're identifying the 17-year-old Douglas here because she's being charged as an adult and because of the severity of the crime. The 17-year-old's next court appearance is scheduled for Friday.
We're currently tracking a verified stolen with charges of reckless and elude.
Chopper video shows a police chase that crossed the Columbia River. Authorities say it started when a driver who was accused of stealing a car took off during a traffic stop near the airport. Portland police followed him with the chopper, and Vancouver police picked up the pursuit on the ground. Body cam video shows police arresting the driver. His charges include possession of a stolen vehicle and possession of a controlled substance. Meanwhile, a train crashed into a logging truck just south of Canby near the intersection of South Barlow Road and Highway 99E. Deputies say the truck was stopped at a red light when the train warning signs lit up, but the driver couldn't move the truck off the tracks without crashing into other cars. Thankfully, no one was injured. Well, today marks a full week of the government shutdown, and lawmakers still can't agree on a funding bill. Meanwhile, the real-world impacts of the shutdown continue to grow and are now affecting air travel. Reporter Amy Kiley has the latest.
This is having great impact, great concern, great stress.
The FAA says it's been delaying flights due to air traffic controller shortages. The Transportation Secretary blames the government shutdown. He says many controllers are calling out sick since they are no longer getting paid.
I want to see your flight not be delayed, but our priorities are safety.
An FAA operations plan says at least a dozen air traffic control facilities braced for shortages last night. The agency reports initial delays in Denver, Newark, and Burbank. Officials say the Burbank tower outright closed, forcing pilots to coordinate with each other.
The very same thing ended the 35-day government shutdown back in 2019, and controllers calling out sick led to ground stops and delays at some of the country's busiest airports. And when that happened, lawmakers reached a deal pretty quickly.
This time around, a deal doesn't appear to be in sight.
There's nothing to negotiate, just reopen the government.
Republicans say they won't negotiate with Democrats until after the government reopens. Democrats say that order of events doesn't work. They want to address healthcare costs in the very funding bill that would end the shutdown.
Both House and Senate Democrats are clear. We'll sit down anytime, any place with anyone from your administration, including the president, to get a resolution here.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
All right, let's take a live look at the current conditions at the Portland airport. Not a lot of delays, although we do count up 23 right now. Just updated that number to 23 delays. A few of them look to be out of Dallas, Texas. Right now, it appears that there's only one canceled flight at PDX. Of course, you can check the status of your flight anytime at flypdx.com. Live look outside right here by way of our Timberline Sky Cam. Rodney Hill, pretty start yesterday, another pretty start today. There was a nice day yesterday, so I'm assuming we're going to have another nice day today. It's all adding up, right?
Yes, assume away, another gorgeous day. Hey, interesting, you showed one of our two live Timberline cameras, the one looking south of Jefferson. This is the one looking up toward the summit, and I've zoomed in, and where I've drawn my yellow box. I've been tracking this for a number of years now and grabbing snapshots off of our camera. So where the yellow box is, if this were July and Timberline's summer ski and boarding camps were live, this is the rough outline of what's known as the Palmer Snowfield. And if you look carefully, this is about as little of snow as I've ever seen left right there. Again, the projections that came out a decade ago, as far as I know, have not changed. And that's by August into September and early October. By the year of 2050, there won't be any snow on the mountain late season before we start, and no glaciers before we start the new snowpack season. So to kind of keep you updated on what's going on up there. It was 53 at Timberline yesterday. They'll see high temperatures around 53 again today. All right, here's the rising sun. Everything's got Mount Hood in it from the Shalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. 45 degrees. As Drew mentioned, it's a clear sky day. It's going to be another beautiful day. 61 in Gresham and 60 in Troutdale. East winds keeping the temperature up, gusting to about 30 miles per hour this morning. We do have calm wind spots where temperatures are the lowest. Salem, one of those spots at 43. Ronan is today's KGW Dog of the Day. Beautiful dog. Send us your photo and dog's name to the email, dogoftheday@kgw.com. Your dog will become our dog of the day. All right, this afternoon, everybody's clear. Some 60s out east, but mostly 70s. This actually now shows 80 degrees this afternoon down in Eugene. I think our record in Portland today is 85. That was just a couple Octobers ago, 2023. 78 tomorrow, partly cloudy, 66. Shower chance to start Thursday, likely showers Friday, rain at times over the weekend. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thank you for that. We take you to Clark County. Heads up on SR 502, the Battleground Highway right now. Photojournalist Eric Patterson about to make that on-ramp to southbound I-5. In about 30 minutes or so, WashDOT's going to be closing this on-ramp for some guardrail repair. Again, that's SR 502 to southbound I-5. We'll be closing from 8 to 2 as WashDOT does some road work there. All right, back to your drive times. We are up a lot on the west side now. 34 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough, and I think that's part of the reason why. That blinding sunshine now right in the driver's face. This is eastbound. The lineup actually starts out near Bethany, and it's pretty slow from Murray to 217 as well. So pack your patience on that side of town. Also in Beaverton, you're looking at a lineup right now on Shoals Ferry Road, both directions near Blackbird. This is because of a crash, a possible injury crash there that's got traffic running really slow near the Murray Hill neighborhood. You may want to skip that and try Barrows Road to the south for now. Drew, we'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you, Chris. The Mariners even up their playoff series with the Tigers on Sunday. They're going to play in Detroit this afternoon, but before we get to Game 3 of the series, we're going to take a look back at the cheers and the tears during an exciting Game 2 in Seattle. We're also gearing up for this year's KGW Great Toy Drive. We're still about a month away from the drive itself, but now is the time to sign up to help us collect toys this year. Local business owners, local organizations, you can all help out by signing up to collect. You can go to kgw.com/toy. That's where you sign up, and that's how we will send you the official Great Toy Drive collection kit this year. Thanks for signing up in advance.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, welcome back to the Sunrise Show. We've got some sports headlines for you this morning. We're talking about the Mariners here. They play in Detroit this afternoon in Game 3 of their playoff series with the Tigers. The M's tied the series up on Sunday in Seattle, and one fan is going viral at this point for his reaction to Sunday's victory. Here's Sebastian Robertson with the story.
It's been said there's no crying in baseball. This weekend, Mariners fans proving that old saying is wrong. One fan in particular.
There is so much crying as a Mariners fan, and I don't really remember it. Cal hit the double, and he did what he's done all year, and then Julio did it, and you just gotta cry, man. I guess it's really stupid, but I'm a Mariners fan.
Spade's moment of raw human emotion was captured on live national television. Moments after Mariners scored on an RBI double. Julio Rodriguez lined one into left to drive in Cal Raleigh for the lead.
There's been a lot of frustration for a passionate group of fans that just want to be rewarded. And the energy and in the environment that was there this weekend, the fans almost willing the team to victory on Sunday night. Yeah, I understand how that becomes an emotional moment for any fan.
This moment posted to social media, shared on sites like Reddit and X, has since gone viral. The lifelong Seattle Mariners supporter has become the face of an elated fan base. Those were happy tears, by the way.
We have so many things we argue about and so many things that split us up, and it's just me and my partner going to that game that we needed to win, that we finally won, and we should cry, and we should all hug, and the bandwagon has room enough for every member in Seattle and in Oregon and in Idaho.
Spade was born and raised in Seattle. He's the grandson of the founders of Dick's Drive-In. For him, seeing the Mariners in the postseason is more than enough to bring a grown man to tears.
Rod, do you want to say the line or should I say the line? There's what? There is
no crying
in baseball?
Yeah.
We learned that years ago from Tom Hanks.
Maybe he's crying because it's National Taco Tuesday Day. Maybe that's what's got him all emotionally going here.
I didn't grow up in this area, nor did you. And I know you're a Cardinals fan. I grew up a Philadelphia Phillies fan. But I am pulling for the Mariners. And I always have.
Me too. Yeah,
only team in Major League Baseball to never even appear in the World Series. They've got a good squad this year. Game 3, by the way, of that series between the Mariners and Tigers is this afternoon at 1 o'clock. I also like afternoon playoff baseball. You don't have to wait till tonight.
Yeah.
It happens today.
As a Cardinal fan, I am starting to shop around for a new team. So maybe the Mariners will be it, man.
Jump on board.
All right, let's get you going. We have a clear sky day out there. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Developing systems up here, but it could be Friday before Portland sees a shower. I start the shower chance not tomorrow, but on Thursday. Today, it's just what we had yesterday. Everybody's clear. That's what Futurecast shows at 5 o'clock today. There's a little wave of some cloudiness tomorrow morning, but generally tomorrow is dry and partly to even mostly sunny. The first rain of any kind showing up is tomorrow evening right there along the coast. The weather system is, and it's big. It's a big upper level low that's going to be parked offshore for several days. That will spin up showers coming up south to north across the area. Again, the shower chances generally start by the time you wake up Thursday morning, but it could be Friday before we really see widespread shower activity where everybody says, hey, I've got some rain. Here's the way Futurecast shows Thursday at 5 o'clock. Doesn't really show much, but I think this could be underplaying. I think there's a reasonable shower threat on Thursday. It's just Friday, the rain chance looks far, far, far better. All right, 74 in Astoria yesterday. Most of the beaches with that east wind flow did make it to 70. Clear skies in Lincoln City right now. Chinook Winds Casino Resort, 50 degrees the temperature. We're expecting maybe not everybody today, but more than not to get up to around 70 for a high again. So gorgeous weather. Here is the gorge. This is from the Dalles looking back at Mount Hood from the Oregon Veterans Home camera. It's 40 degrees with a light wind. Notice the wind direction is still east. And by the time you get to the west end of the gorge, gusty winds to 30 miles per hour have been blowing in Troutdale. Not bad in downtown. We don't have much of a breeze, maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour. Just look at a clear sky morning, and the Tilcomb Crossing catching some of the early morning sunrise there from the Portland Spirit Landing. 51 is the number out at the airport, 43 in Salem, 40 out in the Dalles we saw. Still in the 20s out in Burns and Baker City, 50s at the coast this morning. The coast forecast. This gives Tillamook and Astoria up to 70, 71, and Pacific City 71. The wind direction today will eventually later on, including out in the gorge, kick to the west. So later today, east winds that have been blowing will start to calm, and then those winds will flip to the west. This shows upper 70s in the valley, shows upper 70s again today in southwest Washington. So take advantage. I mean, could this be the last back-to-back 70-degree weather of the entire year? Possible, right? 60s tomorrow, but dry, and then shower chances start Thursday, likely on Friday, rain at times over the weekend. Here's Chris.
That's kind of a bummer.
Well,
Don't
possible,
talk like that.
right? Yeah.
Might be. It's fall. All right. Hey, back to your I-5 drive. We've got some new trouble now on I-5 southbound. The drive in from Clark County, by the way, about 30 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. This is live at Columbia Boulevard. Looks like we've got some folks tangled up in a fender bender here on the shoulder, and that's adding to some of the local slowing. So that's the live look at Columbia. We'll take you back towards SR 500, and we're basically slow and steady from that part of town on southward. Also, over on the west side, we've got the blinding sunshine, a nice problem to have, right, on a Tuesday morning. That's likely adding to this elevated drive time now. It's taken folks about 41 minutes to get in from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel, and I'm not sure why we're going back up here. That's not where I wanted to go. Well, in any event, that's what I-5 looks like up near SR 500. Freeways are getting busy. Drew, we are into the heart of our Tuesday morning commute. We'll stay on top of it for you.
All right, thank you, Chris. A medical helicopter crashes on a California highway, leaving 3 people critically hurt. We'll have that story and other national headlines for you when Sunrise, streaming live here at 7 o'clock, continues.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and tonight at 6:30 on The Story, if you live anywhere near South Portland, you know about the helicopters circling the ICE building, who they belong to, and what, if anything, can be done about all the noise. Watch The Story tonight live at 6:30 on KGW or anytime on our TV app, KGW+. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Here's a look at some national headlines this morning with your morning rush. We know 3 people are in critical condition after a medical helicopter crashed onto a California freeway last night. There wasn't a patient on board, but the pilot, a nurse, and a paramedic were all hurt. It's not clear yet what caused the crash. The CDC signed off on new COVID vaccine guidelines that recommend anyone 65 or older only get the vaccine after they consult with a doctor or a pharmacist. Foster Farms is recalling nearly 4 million pounds of chicken corn dogs because the USDA says they may contain pieces of wood in the batter. Several people have already reported having issues because of this. Customers can return the product for a refund. And last headline here, Cyndi Lauper is heading to Las Vegas. The singer announced her first residency at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, which will run from late April to early May. Tickets go on sale this week. She'll also, by the way, be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming up in November. And that's a look at your morning rush. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise, we'll have the latest on the National Guard's deployment to Portland and other cities, as President Trump suggests a new effort to get boots on the ground. And later, Taylor Swift's brand new movie raked in millions of dollars during its one and only weekend in theaters. How she's setting records even Prince couldn't hit. Again, that story coming up for you in the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise right here on KGW+.